It's like what?
There we go. All right, people, listen. Hopefully, and we talked about this yesterday. Hopefully, some of you reworked your design. If not, maybe you have one that you really like and it looks pretty good. Some of yours that I look around, a lot of them should be all right. And again, you will have time, even when we start putting this thing together a little more, you'll still have time if you don't like something to try something else, adjust things, all right? The biggest part I would definitely urge is that you make sure you're using the space wisely. If your shapes are really small, obviously the end product's not going to look as nice, okay? Today, here's what we're going to do. One, if you could locate your layers panel, okay? Now, if you actually click on the tab, let me do this here for you. So mine's down here, the layers panel. Just for the sake of you guys seeing this, what I do is this. If I click actually on the word layers on the tab and drag out, all right, I can make my layers panel a lot bigger so that you guys can see it. You don't necessarily have to do that, but you're allowed if you want to, all right? I'll do it again. So layers panel's down here. Okay, I click on the tab, drag it up, out, and up, and then I can, down on the bottom corner here, I can drag it, make it thicker or skinnier, and I can make the panel longer so that you can see your stuff a little bit better, okay? Here's what's going to go on today. First of all, if you did use rulers, if you see I have the blue grid set up here. Thank you. I got the blue grid set up here. Now that my design is done, thanks, bud. Now that my design's done, I don't really need the rulers on anymore. So remember, if you go up to view and go extras, you can shut those off, okay? So if you go up to view extras, you can shut the blue rulers off. If you're kind of done, you're happy with what you have. All right, here's the deal today. I'm going to show you something. You're going to use all of them, all right? There's no right or wrong when I show you them. We're going to do one together, and then you're going to go through the rest of them. Because we are going to use them for this project, and then you're going to want to know where they're at for other projects to come, all right? First of all, over on your layers panel, go ahead and, I think hopefully you already know this, but just click on some of your layers here, okay? And whichever layer you click on, it gets highlighted, correct? Yes, yes? No? Right over here on your layers panel, if I click like on, I labeled this one bottom right, okay? Whichever one's highlighted in gray, that's the one you're on, okay? If I go into my work here, bottom left, there it is. Bottom left moves for me, okay? If you want to name, did I show you how to name layers, yes or no? Okay, if you want to name yours, you can. I did just for the fact of it's a lot easier to navigate through when I start working with images and shapes and a whole bunch of layers. I know exactly where each one is, all right? I'm going to do, for the sake of you guys being able to see it, I'm going to do the center right one. So I'm going to make sure I'm selected on the center right one, and it's this guy, okay? All right, here's the deal. You should have 8 shapes, okay? What I'm about to show you, there's 10 of them. So 2 of your shapes are going to have 2 of these. We're going to look at these effects, okay? There's 8 shapes, there's 10 effects. So each one of your shapes is going to have an effect on it. 2 of your shapes are going to have an extra effect on it. Does that make sense? All right. Now, here's the deal. The effects are right here. On the bottom of your layers panel, you should see a little FX, yes or no? Bottom of the layers panel, you see a little button that says FX. Yes, yes. Click it. And you get this menu. Now, just ignore blending options, but if you go below that and start at bevel and emboss, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay? These are the 10 effects. Don't do anything yet. The nature of this beast is once I show you something, you'll start just trying it yourself, then you get stuck, don't know how to get out of it, and then you're lost, all right? Listen here. We are going to, let's do bevel and emboss. So choose one of your shapes, whichever layer you're on, choose bevel and emboss. Just stay with me for right now, all right? And this should open up, okay? Here's the deal. Every one of these effects, when you go down to that little FX and you choose one, a control panel is going to open up. Here's what happens. Look here. If it opens up and you can't see your work, if I just move this over somewhere, now I can see where I'm at, okay? So move it so that you can see your work. Don't do anything yet or I'll fight you. Somewhere, now it may not have done anything yet, but if you notice, look, this guy now has a bevel and an emboss on it. And the reason you can see it, I purposely have it set to red and green so you can see it. Yours, probably the default is set at black and white, okay? Everybody just stop and look up here, please. First of all, every one of the effects is going to have a control panel like this. Some will have a lot more controls. Others will have less little controls, bells and whistles, okay? For today, there's no right or wrong. I want you to purposely play with all this stuff in each one of the effects so you can see what it does, okay? So watch this. If I go, hold please. Hello? Yes. Yes. Yep. Bye-bye. Garrett. Mr. Lippy.
Your attention, please.
Oh my Lord.
We need all spelling bee participants to report to the pod.
We got a spelling bee?
All spelling bee participants.
That's new.
To the pod and good luck.
Dude, I remember doing those in grade school. I was terrible. I didn't make it out of the first round. All right, here we go. Listen. So, look here. Again, there's no right or wrong today. For example, if I do the size. Oh, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Over here, on all the effects, right here, you want to make sure preview is checked so you can actually see what it's doing. So look, if I do the size, it's going to control the size of this bevel and emboss. Right now it's down. If I hit the direction, if I hit up, it's going to control that, all right? If I go down here, if I double click these little colored squares, that's how I got red and green. Yours are black and white right now. If you double click one of those squares, you'll get a color picker and you can control how you want your bevel and emboss to look, all right? So go ahead and just do something for right now. Again, if you've had my class before, you know about these. Just play nice today, play along, because you're going to end up submitting this as part of a little assignment of this project, all right? Again, if this little thing right here, the gloss contour, if you click that, you got all these different ways. So there's the cone one that looks kind of cool. All right, there's all different ways that this bevel and emboss will work. All right. Now, for the sake of today, here's the deal. In a few minutes, it's kind of like when you were little and it was that special Saturday where mom, dad, or an uncle took you to McDonald's Playland. And you got to just run around like a maniac, stop, eat a chicken nugget, drop it on the floor, pick it back up, and then go run around in booger-filled slides and tunnels. You're going to get to just have fun today, all right? So look here. For the sake of right now, whatever you're doing, hopefully you have something. Just hit OK on that panel. Hit OK on that panel. And now look, all right? I have a beveled and embossed. Boom. Here's what I want you to look at. Look over on your layers panel at that layer. It should look like mine, okay? So it actually says underneath it, it has a little eyeball, it says effects, and then underneath that, it tells me what effect I did, okay? Right here, look here. On the right side of that layer, it has the little effects, and there's a little tiny arrow pointing up. Click that arrow right here, all right? It just closes the main details. So if you're a person that likes everything nice and clean, look, it's still telling me that, oh, that layer has an effect on it. If I hit that arrow now, it'll open up and tell me what effect is on there, okay? If you just want to leave it like that, it's fine, but your layers panel is going to get really, really long, okay? Check it out. Over here, on the layer, next to bevel and emboss, there's a little eyeball. Click it. Maybe you don't want to completely delete it, but you just want to turn it off for a minute. If I hit the eye again, it turns back on. Okay? If you don't like the effect, watch this. If you don't like the effect, I just put my cursor right on bevel and emboss, and if I click and drag, don't do this. If I click, hold the mouse down, and drag down to the trash can right here, it will delete it. All right? I'm not going to do that right now. Okay? So I go back to the effects. All right, there's a whole bunch of them. Here's the game today. Everybody listen. Here's the game today. You are going to put an effect on each one of your layers. All right? I want you to use all 10 of them. On 2 of your layers, there's going to be 2 effects. So look, maybe it's this one for me. If I hit effects and I hit, let's do drop shadow. Okay, check it out. Now this one has a bevel and emboss, and it has a drop shadow on it. I hit OK. Check out the layers panel. It tells me both my effects. All right. So the end of class today, each layer should have at least 1 effect, and 2 of your layers should have 2 effects. Does that make sense? Purposely play around with, when you do have one opened up, purposely move all these little sliders and stuff, just to see what they do for, a few seconds, just so you get the hang of them, all right? And then maybe find something that you like inside of this one. Okay, just a little crash course on the effects. When you get done, just save it. I don't have the assignment posted yet. You'll see it eventually. It'll be Geometric Design Phase 2 Effects, or something to that matter. And this is the one you'll submit to that, okay? The one you should have submitted yesterday, that assignment's in there. It should just be your shape, your 8-shape design, okay? Today, go ahead and mess with these effects. Put 1 on each one of your layers and 2 on 2 of your layers. And then just save it, all right? Everybody good with that? Yep. All right, hold please. Let's see. Here's why I think. Which one is it? Is it this guy? There it is. And it's because I think these. There we go. The sides down there they are. Now you can mess with up, down. Yeah, you know what? Let me pull that up. People, look here. Real quick, everybody stop, because this is pretty much on all of them somewhere. It may not be in the same spot everywhere, but look here. If you can't see something, Alexis just couldn't see hers, right? Right here, for example, on this drop shadow where it says blend mode, mine says normal. Sometimes they automatically default to like look, that one, it's, if you can't see something, it's because it's set to overlay on this one, all right? If I hit dissolve, they have different, and I mean, you can experiment, but if you don't see something, she was on her bevel and emboss, and I'll show you right here, where you could select colors. Her highlight mode was on like multiply, and her shadow mode was like on screen. So she couldn't see anything, all right? I switched to, if you switch them back to normal, you should be able to see them. Okay, so just, if you don't see something, look where, for a tab that says normal or screen or multiply, something like that. Yo.
I don't see.
What shape are you on? Do you know?
I'm on.
That guy? So let's try this side. You know what? I'm wondering if it's because you're using black for your shapes, colors. So you sound like you're exhausted today. Look here.
Well, that's just clicking on.
Hit this. Boom. There it is. So now watch. It's actually on there. Look. See it? Okay, well you just double click this layer. What color you want it to be? Let's do gray. Boom. Hit this. Maybe let it slow it down for me. There we go. And then down. There it is. Look at that. See that? I would change your colors from black to like a gray. We're gonna end up putting in images too. So, was that my phone ringing? Or was it next door? Was it next door? All right, thank you. Yo, are you good enough? I'm gonna start charging money. I'd be able to retire. $10 a minute. No. So show.
Yeah, we might have to.
Don't be back and no. Let's do this. This is gonna be tragic.
Thanks, dog.
You're welcome, dog. Again, mess around with them. You can put more than 10 of them, but what's up? And that's probably because which one are you on here? Yes, that's normal. There it goes.